I have worked 10 hours every day for the last 5 years. No cold showers, no morning routine, or no daily affirmations or whatever this shit is. Just a very simple productivity system and sheer will was enough to keep me consistent through different phases of my life. Be it college, job, being a full-time YouTuber, or now running a marketing agency. And this video I'm going to show you the very productivity system that has helped me work 10 hours every single day with very few tools and resources. And as I head operations and productions in my agency, it is my job at the start of every day to summarize all the day's work for me and my co-founder. And this notification is bound to an app called Notion Calendar, which is also linked to my Notion. Now, Notion has been a part of my life for a really long time. And very recently, I've found an app that makes my Notion workflow 10x more powerful. We'll talk about that later in the video. But the productivity system I use right now is something that I've developed over the last 4-5 years through rote repetition, trial and error, and a lot of modification. Because I too used to struggle a lot with getting distracted and procrastinating and all of these things. And very honestly, I still do suffer from them once in a while. But what has changed is my outlook towards them, how I manage them, how I handle them. That has changed a lot over the years and a little bit with age. And currently this productivity system is like a building standing on 4 different pillars. The first one is probably my favorite. It's called no bullshit. See, I've been in this productivity internet for quite a long time, probably 7-8 years. And in school, in college, I tried all those things, the morning routine, the cold shower, the going on a run out just after you wake up, and delaying your breakfast before you finish your work. And I tried all of those things. But after trying dozens of them, I finally realized that the placebo does hit for a few days. But the only morning routine that has stuck with me till date is absolutely like stupidly simple. These days I just wake up, make coffee and get straight to work. That's it. That's my morning routine. And I didn't used to talk about this much because the productivity YouTube might just feel like, oh, this guy is not one of us. But after Alex Hormozy talked about his morning routine, which looks exactly the same, no alarms, just make coffee and get to work. Because no cold shower or daily affirmation is going to make more progress than actually sitting down and working. You like to do your morning rituals and your morning routines because it helps you avoid the actual work for more 1 or 2 hours. It is essentially a form of procrastination at this point. Coming to pillar number 2, living life in seasons. One thing I've learned to hate is something called work-life balance. I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't think I have or I need to have a life in my 20s, or at least not every day. Now, of course, I will have that occasional night out with my friends or go on a trip 3 to 4 times a year and be happy with it. But what I don't want to be doing is playing games every single night or going out 4 to 5 times every single week and essentially not lock in for any single day of the week. I would rather work 12 to 14 hours a day for 6 days a week and then take Sunday off completely. That way, in these 6 days, I'm not thinking about games or having a life, and on Sunday I am not thinking about work. And that is why in the current season of my life I prefer staying in, putting my head down and working. That way I can have the time and freedom to actually live life when I probably have a family. Coming to pillar number 3 is the empty head. So one of the biggest challenges you will face in life is to be balancing multiple things in your life, and I used to struggle with it a lot. When my YouTube was doing good, my CGPA was declining. When my grades were good, my YouTube channel was dry as fuck. And I also went to the gym, wanted to spend time with my friends, and had to prepare for interviews as well. Now this all got solved by 2 things: the willingness to let things be out of my head, and secondly, my favorite piece of software ever, Notion. Now, especially because I work in a little bit creative field, I want my mind to be free of clutter, and all that clutter, the deadlines, the tasks, the whatever information is there can all go and sit inside Notion, where I can later scrape it and find it when I need. I've been using Notion for the last 5 years and I have made handmade templates for my agency, my life, my content creation, my finances, and a lot more. So it has become like the go-to domain of everything of my life. So if Notion shuts down tomorrow, I am done, bro. I am done. Nothing of this is going to happen anymore. Now I'll be honest, Notion is very good for planning, execution, taking notes, storing information, management, team collaboration. But there is one small piece of the puzzle that Notion has been missing. For example, if I save 2 articles into Notion, which both talk about in some places about the Roman Empire, but both of them take a very different perspective. One might be a layman perspective, one might be the actual Roman emperor perspective. But if these 2 articles were read by me on the same day, I would form a connection between them. But Notion will never do that. And these connections all put together makes a mind map, and Obsidian has it, and I have been jealous for a very long time. But it never made sense to take all of my ecosystem, all my Boria Bastar बांध के I cannot take it to just another software. And I was looking for a solution through Reddit, through YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. And I couldn't find one until last week I stumbled upon this one called Novery.ai. Novery.ai is like the final piece of the puzzle, a really powerful tool, especially for students who use Notion. It very simply takes my Notion and my Google Docs and automatically converts them into flashcards, mind maps, timelines, and graph views, so I can quickly devise complex concepts without rereading the entire pages. The graph view is my favorite part as it links disjoint bits of knowledge and data, helping me visualize the connections, turning information into wisdom that can actually create some impact. And great news for students, Novery.ai also has an AI tutor that asks you questions and gives you instant feedback, much like an actual teacher. So whether you're a student or wanting to level up constantly, Novery makes your revision 10x smarter without changing your existing workflow. So if you're already working in Notion or Google Docs, this might be the upgrade you didn't know you needed. And you can find a link to Novery.ai in the description. Now coming to the least talked about pillar of them all. Pillar number 4, not fighting with yourself. I know all the motivational gurus and everyone tries to infuse this hatred towards your current self, thinking that that will finally make you improve, finally make you grow, because I hate the current version of me. But I watched a really interesting video by Bailey, and she literally opened a new door in this whole concept.
Love gives purpose to the pain that you're putting yourself through. Like love says, I'm not pushing myself because I hate where I am. I'm pushing because I love who I'm becoming.
And it made so much sense, because 4 years ago I was scolding myself for taking an afternoon nap or sleeping in or missing a day at the gym. That was not the right approach. Hating yourself is probably not the right approach to making good progress in your life. And that has, I think, naturally come to me with age. But these days I don't fight my feelings anymore. If I want to sleep, I just go and sleep. If I don't feel like working today, I will just take half of the day off, or even the full day off if that is possible. It is not fighting with me. It is saying to my brain that, okay, I value your impulses. I value whatever you're thinking. I value that you're not feeling like working today. Let's not work today. And I understand that it's a privilege to take a half day off whenever I want, because I work for myself. I do my own work. But the point is, what we tell ourselves, the self-talk that goes in our head, is actually very important. Because when you miss one day of gym, there's a huge difference between saying, oh, I lack discipline, I missed a day of gym again, instead of, it's okay, but I really value my fitness, so let's try going to the gym tomorrow. And see, I think most people try to find purpose in hating their current self and doing other things, because without purpose you cannot work, without purpose you cannot probably even live. And people are trying to find purpose on the internet. They're trying to even copy other people's purpose. That is why they are hating themselves, so that they have a reason to improve. It was never out of love, and that is, I think, what needs to change. In this phase of my life, I am just working for a few things that I want in my life. I want to become better, earn more money, and so on. And I'm not working because otherwise I'll feel like a failure. I probably will not. I have enough self-esteem for that. But I'm not running from the negatives. I am actually running after the positives, because I value myself. I want to become better. That is what keeps me driven every single day. So the key takeaway is to ignore all the fluff and cut out all the things that does not make direct sense. See, all that matters is what you want to achieve and what you have to do to get there. Because if you're new to cutting trees, you shouldn't spend all of your time sharpening the saw.